All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to the Three Broke Guys handicapping webcast for Friday. 9 Breeders' Cup races on tap tomorrow, which includes a 2-day pick six carryover of over 500,000 and 2 Breeders' Cup pick fours with guaranteed minimum pools. So we got a lot to get talking about. So we're going to get started. My name is Joe English, again, substituting for our regular host, Rich Sharp. Again, Rich, our thoughts are with you. The other guy on the screen is the third broke guy. His name is Ray Tirado. Ray, are you ready to rumble?
Oh, yes. Today was a good day, and tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Awesome.
Get some cash in the bank.
Yeah, hopefully. With so many races to get to, we're going to do it. We think it's best to do a recap after all 13 races have been run. So please find us on Twitter at Three Broke Guys and Three Broke Guys Handicapping. And my personal Twitter handle is Joe English 16, and we will be posting when we're going to do the recap. My guess is we'll do it sometime during the week next week, but again, it's tentative, so we're not sure yet. So let's get started on Saturday's card. Race 4 is the Juvenile Fillies race. They're running a mile and a 16th on dirt. This begins the $1 million early pick four, the early Breeders' Cup pick four. This race, the morning line favorite for the race is number 10 from the Bob Baffert barn, noted and quoted, and she's a very tepid 9-2 on the morning line. This race was won by Songbird last year at odds on, and obviously there's no likely odds on favorite today. So Ray, why don't you just get us started and give us your top three for the Juvenile Fillies?
Well, actually, it's a very competitive race. They all seem to be equally matched. Got some horses here who've never been two turns, so leaning not towards them. Trying to look for experience in the two turns. And Noted Quoted, yes, has gotten the two turns, won Chandelier. Number 10. Number 11, Daddy's Little Darling on the outside. Has been two turns in the East Coast, Kentucky and Churchill. Yeah, Churchill. And and looks like a good closer. There's one horse I like here also. Is number 4. Well, Yellow Gate. This horse actually going first time two turns. Got good breeding out of Jamal. This has been a hot side of this year. At 8-1, and also number 3, Valadorna. Julian Ripple had a nice, impressive maiden win in Keeneland. First time winners. Let's see how she does with these horses. And you can't forget Mike Smith on the outside. Bob Baffert. This horse been working like a tiger. 46 flat. She'll be trying two turns for the first time, so I'll give her a shot. Maybe I'll try and rate her a little bit and see what to get out of her. So, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12. Those are horses I like. One horse I just wanted to mention who actually blew out the buyers. I ran like a 103, I think, and Jameson Ginger broke his maiden. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning against that one. She may bounce off that work. That was off that race. All right, Joe. Juvenile Fillies. 2-year-olds next year for Yokes.
Yeah, they are, Ray. To be honest, I'm going to. I guess I'm going to try and limit it to 3 horses, even though there are 4 horses that I think that have a really good shot. Today in this race, we're kind of not on the same page, unlike yesterday when we were on the same page in pretty much every race. In this race, I actually like the number 8, Dancing Rags, who ran a really nice race in the Alcibiades, sit behind a fast pace, which I think is what you're going to get here with horses like Jameson and Ginger and American Gal. There are a couple others like with Honors who have speed in this race. And she, like I said, she was able to sit a nice trip last time, and I think she'll be able to get that same trip again. And she'll get first run on the closers. And Santa Anita is obviously known for its speed favoring oval. So I'm leaning more towards horses that would be likely to be closer to the lead. So the 8's on top for me, Dancing Rags. My second choice is the 5, undefeated Sweet Loretta, who's done very well for Todd Pletcher. She's been freshened since Saratoga. The distance should be no problem being by Tappet, and she's undefeated. You always have to worry about undefeated horses. Not worry about them. You always have to give them some respect because they haven't lost yet. Again, like Ray was saying about others, the first time going 2 turns. But again, because of the breeding, I don't think the 2 turns should be an issue. And because she's coming out of some sprint races, maybe she'll be closer to the pace than I think a lot of people would think at the moment. Noted and quoted has to be respected. She's been working really well out here, and I really don't think she's actually going to go off at 9-2. Based on what I've seen, I'm fairly certain she's going to go off the favorite. A lot like Good Samaritan was the buzz horse for the turf, juvenile turf today. Noted and quoted is getting a lot of buzz, so I kind of think she's going to go off closer to 5-2, maybe 3-1, than that 9-2 morning line. I think that's being a little generous. Again, based on the way she's worked in the morning, and I'll mention with honors because she was very close to Noted and quoted, and the I guess was in the Chandelier last time. So I would think she's got a chance. If for some reason the speed duel that I think doesn't develop, I'm fairly certain she's going to be on underneath the lead. She's got the inside post to help her out in that regard. So my top 3 choices are the 8 Dancing Rags, 5 Sweet Loretta, and 10 Noted and Quoted. And with that, we will move on to race number 5, which is the filly and mare turf on 10 furlongs, at 10 furlongs on the grass. Morning line favorite in this race is the very popular and the well-deserving well-deserving of morning line favoritism, Lady Eli, program number 8 at 5-2 for Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz. Last year, Stephanie's Kitten won this race for Chad Brown at 12-1. Now you're not going to get 12-1 on Lady Eli. And I think if I remember right, Ray, was Day at the Spa also trained by Chad Brown when we were there in 2014, which would mean Chad Brown might be going for back-to-back winners of the filly and mare turf. And if so, can he do it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think this race is going to be a little formful here. I like Lady Eli. I'm so happy she came back, and she put in a powerful performance last time in the Flower Bowl. And I remember one tweet that you did. We did one tweet. She says, "Lady, don't forget me." Mm-hmm. And so she's gonna have a big factor here. And C. Khaleesi, number 1 on the inside, has to be respected. And for Chad Brown, it's like a Chad Brown, like a relay race here. You got Lady Eli, C. Khaleesi, but then you got the speedy Catch a Glimpse, and they're gonna have to catch her. She's got all those ones, and she's gonna go to the front and see Catch Me If You Can. Castellano actually picks up the bounce for Giroux, who stays aboard. Who was it? Yeah. C. Khaleesi, yeah. So Castellano's gonna ride this horse here well, and those are my 3 horses I like. This kind of on the chalky side, but for this race, these are probably the best horses. One you all wanted to mention was Queen's Trust. Been battling against some big horses like Journey and Minding, and lost to Seventh Heaven. So Queen's Trust with the old Frankie Dettori, first time Lasix also for Michael Stewart, and they're gonna run well too, I believe. So those would be my horses. I like the 8 on top with the 1 and the 2 and 11. Right, Joe? Mile and a quarter. The place goes around. They start on the top, right?
They don't start quite at the top of the hill, but they start where the bend actually when the left hand turn coming down the hill starts.
Right.
So there's a little bit of the hill portion that they have to deal with, but generally I don't think it's really that much of an issue.
Probably 2 minutes anyway.
Yeah, it's funny the horses that you mentioned. I like 3 of the horses that you mentioned. I like the 11. I like Queen's Trust. She's been keeping the same company with some of the others in here, And even though Seventh Heaven is one of the morning line favorites at 3-1, this one outfinished Seventh Heaven in her last race. And I respect the barn. The price is a bit short for a horse who's 1 for 7. But again, it's because she's been keeping good company, and that's the reason she's probably 1 for 7. And Journey is no joke. I actually had a chance to watch that race. That filly is something. She's going to be, if they keep her in training, you may see her in this race again next year. So I'm on board with the 11 Queen's Trust at a little bit of a price. Like I said, for a horse that's 1 to 7, I wish the horse was a little bit longer than 6-1 morning line, and maybe she'll drift up based on the sentimentality angle that Lady Eli is going to get a lot of money. She's my second choice, Lady Eli. She's third off the layoff. She's been nearly perfect, and she won at Santa Anita 2 years ago in the Breeders' Cup in the juvenile filly turf. So she's again, you have to respect what she's done coming back from the injury, and again, third off the layoff. She's going to be tough to beat. The other horse I like in here is the 5, Al's Gal. She's been really consistent. She's been in great form since finishing second to C. Khaleesi in the Beverly D. She's a Grade 1 winner. She won the E.P. Taylor last time out, and she should sit close to catch a glimpse. But she'll need to work out a trip. But she's a nice price. I believe she's 15-1 on the morning line, and maybe she could sneak into the trifecta ahead of C. Khaleesi, who I would have as the 4th choice for all the reasons Ray mentioned. So 11, 8, 5, and the 1 would be my 4th choice in the filly and mare turf on Saturday. So let's move on. Race 6 is the Breeders' Cup Sprint. 6 furlongs on the dirt. The morning line favorite in this race is the 7, Masochistic at 2-1. Trained by Ron Ellis, ridden by Mike Smith and not his son-in-law Joe Talamo, which I thought was kind of interesting. Last year, this race was won by Run Happy. The field drew 9 for the race, but earlier in the week, and thanks to Twitter, social media has been great. I've heard of at least 2 horses that I thought were supposed to be scratched, Joking and unfortunately Bob Baffert's Lord Nelson. I checked the program, I checked the Santa Anita website, and I did not see that they're scratched yet. But I'm going with that assumption. So based on that, we're down to a field of 7, and there are 2 horses in this race who are undefeated in 2016 who've had at least 3 starts. Dreyfong and AP Indian. And Ray, I just wanted to know, is one of those the horse that you're picking to remain undefeated this year?
Yeah, I think they're probably tied, so they can both stay undefeated. They're both good, I tell you. I'll probably have to give Dre Fong a little advantage because he's been running on the track. But A-Pin, he has a real horse too. Yeah, I would probably go Dre Fong, get some massive speed, and probably A-Pin they're gonna sit right behind him and they're gonna barrel down the stretch. As far as Master Plastic, I like him, but not 2-1. I'm just trying to stay away from him. It's a little short for me. And there's really no one else this race I'm looking at. So those 2 and Jay Fong, AP Indian, right to the wire.
One will be undefeated at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, it's funny. Like I said, when I saw the news yesterday of the Lord Nelson scratch, I was kind of floored because I was basically going to go with him.
Yeah,
I would have singled him in any wager. I would have thought he would have been the easiest winner because if you look and looking at the Brisnet PPs, it's pretty enlightening. When you look at Dreyfong and Masochistic and to some degree AP Indian, they've all been able to win on the lead, but they've all been able to get away with slow quarters and slow halves for the level that they've been running at. And with the 3 of them in the race, well, especially with both Dreyfong and Masochistic in the race, I would have thought there's no way that they could get away with a slow fraction. I mean, this is Santa Anita after all. I would figure if they're sprinting, they're running 21-1 or 21-2. So and Masochistic really has never won a race where the early pace has been above par for the level of the race. So I again, like you, I'm against him. I ended up on Dre Fong just like you did. 2 for 2 going 6 furlongs at lower levels, of course. But you got to give Baffert credit. He may have lost Lord Nelson and not having him run, but Dre Fong's still definitely worthy of possibly winning the sprint title.
Yeah.
I do also have a long shot in this race I like a little bit because of the post that he drew, and because I think he's got enough speed to tactically stay close enough in case the speed duel between Dre Fong and Masochistic, the speed duel I think is going to develop, does develop. And that's the 8, No Holding Back Bear, who ran really well in the Gallant Bob and finished 3rd in the King's Bishop behind Dre Fong. Again, Dre Fong got away with a slow pace that day. He's got tactical speed. He's going to be outside, and if the pace develops, like I think it will, he'll be in the garden spot. So I like the 8 as a long shot, and I got to give credit to AP Indian, unblemished this year, good tactical speed. He's another who could sit behind those early leaders. The problem about him is he might get stuck in behind Dre Fong and Masochistic, and he'd have to work his way out of that box, whereas No Holding Back Bear will be on the outside, and he'll be able to run as he pleases. So again, 2.85 for me in the sprint. Again, I was kind of floored by Baffert, by losing Lord Nelson. Like I said, he would have been a single on my tickets. And if he does happen to run, if the reports of his scratch are not true, and the field stays as is, I would definitely revert back to a single with Lord Nelson in the sprint.
Even Delta Bluesman is going to be out there too.
Well, that's another thing I saw on Twitter is that Jorge Navarro said that Delta Bluesman's going to the lead. So if that's the case, I don't think Masochistic has any other way to run other than on the lead. Dre Fong hasn't shown us anything other than that, but he's still 3 years old and he's still learning. But again, if the pace develops, like I said, I'd like No Holding Back Bear at 15-1, and we've seen today that prices are coming in. And honestly, I would hope that, like I said, if you're on a 15-1 shot, don't let anybody talk you off, because this is the day that 15-1 shots, horses that should never be 15-1 will be 15-1. Let's move on to race 7, the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, 6.5 furlongs on the very unique Hillside Turf Course. We've got a huge field of 14. There are 2 also eligibles. So actually 16 entered last year. Oh, actually, the morning line favorite in this race is actually 5-1, and it's the Rail Runner, Pure Sensation, for Christophe Clement and Kendrick Carmouche. Last year's renewal was 5.5 at Keeneland, 5.5 furlongs, and it was won by a horse who's in this spot today, Mongolian Saturday, and that's a theme you're going to get to hear a lot of throughout the show. It seems like this would be a spread race to me, though, at least in any multi-race exotic wager. And this is the finale to the earlier Breeders' Cup pick 4. So I just wanted to ask Ray, who gets your pick? Who's on your top line for this turf sprint?
I was leaning towards the inside horses. Number 1, Pure Sensation, getting good speed, and should work out a trip here. The only thing about that horse is that never been out to California, and this course is very unique, so you have to really be experienced on it. But there's really not that many horses here that have run in this course, so I guess they will all be equal. And the fastest one down the hill will win. And that leads me to number 2, obviously, who's going to be out there like a rocket. He knows this course well, so he's going to be able to go out there too. And you got Mongolian Saturday too, number 3, who is like a sprint specialist here. He's been putting some really fast times, and won the Woodford last time and went out to and last year the winner. So those would be my 3 horses, 1, 2, 3. If there's any horse if the pace really collapses, I mean, I've always this horse. I don't know for some reason. Every time I see him run, he just comes like a rocket down the stretch. And that's number 11, undrafted, with Johnny V. He will definitely take advantage of a fast pace. So those would be my horses. 1, 2, 3, 11. Joe, actually, I want to say something else. I saw a race today. I think it was the first race, and I swear they went. I think it was 21 and 2, and they went 42 and 3 for the first half. I was like, wow, I
That's
can't believe that.
that's not unusual on this turf course, and actually, I kind of
Yeah,
think that's
no,
going to be. I think that's actually if they run tomorrow 21 and 2 and 42 and 3, I think that'll be slow.
yeah.
Um, I don't see any way.
42.
Seriously, if they go unless somehow there's a thunderstorm, or there's no way they're running in 42 or 40. I mean, sorry, 40, 43 or 44, which would be a normally reasonable time on this course.
Yeah.
There's just to me, I just see a lot of speed in this race. And I actually like the horse that you just mentioned as the upsetter. I like the 11. I like undrafted. The race we saw that was won by Bobby's Kitten 2 years ago on this course was a blanket finish with him and undrafted. I can't remember who the other horse who was absolutely flying at the end because the pace is just so ridiculous coming down the hill. And with horses like Pure Sensation and Obviously, I don't think Obviously knows any other way to go, even though he's been going a mile. He's been running, at the mile distances he's running 22 and 45. So he knows no way to go. He's going to be on the lead, and this pace is going to be fast. And Mongolian Saturday is probably going to be a pace factor too. So I can't see any of those three really hanging on. I do like Mongolian Saturday a little bit, but not enough to put him in my top three. But again, undrafted was third on this course in this race 2 years ago, and the pace to me seems like it's going to set up for him. So I expect to be flying late if he's in any kind of form, in any kind of shape. My second choice is actually a European, the number 4, Home of the Brave. He's been running at 7 furlongs, and he's cutting back. He was collared late at the end of his last 2 races, so I'm thinking maybe 6.5 fits him right. And the Europeans, if anybody can adapt to this turf course, this sprint layout, it's probably the Europeans, because they're used to weird and undulating courses with hills and valleys. We don't have very many like that in the States, so I think they would be more likely to adapt. And again, he's going to be a price, and he's fresh, and I think he's got a chance to hit the board at least. The other horse I like, my third choice would be Ohm. And I like him over Obviously because I think he's got a little bit more of a chance to rate. He's been rating going long, and I've heard all week about horses with tactical speed going a mile, fitting this turf course to a T. And Gary Stevens obviously won a race today earlier. He's got, like I said, he's got tactical speed. He drew well. The outside posts are always better on this turf course anyway. But he is winless this year, which is a concern. But again, you're going to get a price on him. So all of my top 3 are over 10 to 1. This is a race where I'm obviously betting against the favorites. Of course, I said obviously twice in that, and he's in the race. But so for me, it's 11, 4, and 12. Mongolian Saturday would be an underneath horse. And I like Chad Brown's horse a little bit today. He's been freshened by Brown, and he's had success sprinting, and he drew well. Again, drew an outside box. So again, for me, the top 3 would be 11 undrafted, 4 Home of the Brave, and the 12 Ohm. So we will move on. The next race is a very anticipated race, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. 8.5 furlongs, mile and 16th on the dirt. Morning line favorite is number 10, drawn on the outside. Well, not on the far outside, but outside. The 10, not this time at 7-2 for the Dale Romans Robbie Alvarado team. Last year's winner, Nyquist, drew post 13 that day and was undefeated at that time, and he went on to win the Derby. So I ask you, Ray, who's going to be the 2017 Derby favorite after this race is official?
Yeah, this race will definitely tilt the Derby future odds, and this is a very deep field. I'll tell you.
Everybody's here.
Everybody's here. You're right. I mean, we got Klimt, we got Syndergaard, we got Theory, we got Three Rules for
Except,
Florida.
except maybe for Mastery and from the Velvet Bond. But other than that, everybody's here.
Practical Joke. Yeah, we got Classic Empire. This is a really good race. Gormley. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Hit
Right, well,
button.
give us the winner. All button. I'm not betting all in the Derby. Give me who's the Derby favorite.
Actually, I like well, I got some bets here, futures. I do like Practical Joke. He's 3 for 3, won the Champagne. That was an awesome race. I mean, they ran neck and neck down the stretch, and he outlasted Syndergaard. I like his way he's able to rate. And Chad Brown finally has a good dirt horse, 2-year-old, going to the Derby. That's probably his dream now. That's probably the only thing he hasn't done yet. Is to win the Derby, so that's the next goal. The only thing he hasn't been 2 turns, and he's going out to the West Coast, which is a little, different kind of track. So, but I'll take a chance on him. He's 6-1. He could drift up a little bit. I do like also in the second spot. I like Klimt. I think from the rail, he's gonna get a good spot. I think first time going 2 turns. He just he's been sprinting. This race was kind of like a experienced race, and Gormley went out there, set slow pace, and couldn't catch him. So I think Klimt will definitely benefit from that race and move forward. Syndergaard probably will be a pace setter, pace casualty actually. I like him a little bit to hold on to to run well, but I don't think he's gonna win. I mean, my opinion. I think Theory's a little bit off the little behind. I mean, I don't know why he's here. Honestly, I mean, I thought he'd maybe go somewhere else to Florida and run in next year. Three Rules. You get this horse from Florida, 5 for 5, winning by open lengths, but again 2. So you gotta test his now he's running against the big boys here. So that would be my picks here. We got the 9, the 1. And I would throw in for the third spot would be I mentioned the 2, 9-1-2, with Classic Empire as a 4th choice, number 5. All right, Joe.
Well, yeah, thanks. Like I said, this is a very interesting race. I think a horse that's got 2-turn experience is going to win this race. I'm going with. I saw the horse win at Keeneland, and he never looked like a loser, and that's the 5 Classic Empire. He was strong that day. He's got tactical speed, and that will help him over this track. He's already gone 2 turns. This will be his second start. There's no reason he can't improve off that. So for me, he's tough to get past. I kind of like him quite a bit. The 2 Syndergaard is my second choice. Only because I know this track and I know how dangerous speed can be, and I'd be fairly certain that he will be on the engine. He will be the leader regardless of 3 Rules or Gormley or whomever else is in the race. I think he's going to be on the lead. I think he guns from the get-go. And then he's going to play come and catch me if you can. Again, and the race he ran in the Champagne was just amazing considering that was his first versus open company. He'd beat up on New York breds before that. But it is his first 2-turn try. So, I mean, maybe he can last if he can ration his speed a little bit. Again, I like Classic Empire quite a bit, but I think Syndergaard has a chance to finish underneath. The 10, Not This Time, would be my third choice. He's been freshened, and from all reports, the barn is very high on this horse. When I was in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, he was the future book favorite at 15-1 to win the Derby next year. So obviously there are a lot of people who are very high on this horse, and he's been freshened. But I think he's going to need to get a pace to run at. Not that that's impossible in this spot, but I just don't necessarily like horses coming from very far back. He might need to be a little closer to the pace. Again, I'm not saying he can't do it. I just don't know if he's ready for it, or if the track is going to play more to his style, which is the same that I can say for the 9 Practical Joke, who's really the only 2-time Grade 1 winner, and he is undefeated, so you got to give him credit for that. But it is his first round 2 turns, and again, he's a closer. Big Sandy is a lot more favorable to closers, and even Saratoga is than the Santa Anita main track is, and going around of ground, you need to have some speed. So that might be something that I would hold against him. So again, for me, 5, 2, and 10, Classic Empire over Syndergaard, and Not This Time, with Practical Joke a well-beaten 4th in this race. And I know Rich is probably shaking his head, and I know his Bob Baffert doll is shaking his head saying, you didn't include either of the California horses in this race. No, I did not, Bob. You can shake your head at me at some point later in life. I'm sure you will, for another reason, even if I happen to be right about this. So 5, 2, 10, 9 for me in the juvenile. And we will get going over to race 9, the 12 furlong Breeders' Cup Turf. This race begins the $3 million guaranteed pool in the late Pick 4 at Santa Anita on Saturday. Morning line favorite is a local horse who used to be a European. Again, trained by Chad Brown. He's the only one on Saturday who has 2 morning line favorites. The number 4, Flincher, for the aforementioned Mr. Brown, and Javier Castellano, who teamed up to win a race today on New Money Honey at 6-1. So they're looking for back-to-back days with winners in the Breeders' Cup. Last year, the race was won by Found, who is back to defend her title. And I'm going to use a pun here for all of you people out there. Can she, quote, find her winning form again after finishing second in the Quipco Champion Stakes at Ascot 3 weeks ago? Ray, what is your opinion of that? Do you think she can?
No, I think she'll be second. Flincher wins this race. Flincher is a beast. Last time the track was a little croaky. It was like one of those rainstorms, and the grass was like, forget about it. I mean, and that horse Ed Cott just went out there and wired the field. And Flincher struggled over the ground. That's what they said. And I think he's gonna win. Castellano. He's won a lot of money. He's a very great. Flincher's won the Sword Dancer in the Manhattan twice. And he missed his race last year, but this is his Breeders' Cup now. He went over to Japan. So this is Flincher's race to win, and Fine will be second. If I have to put a horse for third, probably I like mine the least for third. For closing, get the distance. And I got much to say about this race. I like Flincher a lot. I would lean towards singling him in my bets. Like a spread elsewhere. Right, Joe?
Wow, that's a strong opinion. That's good. I like strong opinions. That's outstanding. I like you agree. I think Found is going to finish second. I just don't think that Flincher is the horse that's going to beat him. Beat her. I think the other European, Highland Reel, is a little bit fresher than she is at the moment. Found has run a lot of races this year. Highland Reel has 2, but he's run, I think, 2 starts less than the other than Found, and I don't really think there's that much that separates them. And the morning line maker obviously agrees with me, being that they're both 3-1 on the morning line. I do like Found. You can't really knock what she's done. She is what Flincher used to be. This year she ran second an awful lot. The only thing is, she's run twice already in October, and
Mhm.
they're squeezing the lemon. I kind of wonder if they haven't already squeezed it dry, considering she probably, given that she won the ARC early October, and then she finished second in the race I mentioned earlier. I just don't know if she's going to be fresh enough to win in this spot when Highland Reel is going to be a little bit fresher, having skipped the race at Ascot and pointing for the Breeders' Cup. I kind of wonder if maybe if this decision to run Found, considering they were going to run in the Classic earlier in the week, I'm just not sure if they really wanted to run in this spot, and maybe it's the owners who made this choice as opposed to Aiden O'Brien. So again, I would go 12, 10, and again, you must respect Flincher. I don't see much else running underneath. I'm unfortunately being, quote, a chalk-eating weasel and staying with the 3 morning line favorites, 12, 10, 4, Highland Reel, Found, and Flincher for me in the Breeders' Cup Turf. Let's move on to race 10. This is the 7 furlong filly and mare sprint. The morning line favorite for this spot is the New York horse, number 2. Have You Gone Away? Trained by Tom Morley, ridden by John Velasquez, and she's 3-1 on the morning line. Again, she drew an inside post 2. Last year's race, 2015, was won by 11-1 Wavell Avenue, who, like Found, is also back to defend her crown. Now I ask you, Ray, will this year's winner pay over or under 11-1?
I think under. Under. I take the under on
Tell
this
me
one.
who.
Karina Mia, 7-2. Turning back to sprint. She's been running against Songbird a few times, battling her for most of the race and distance races, and I think cutting back's going to help her a lot in this race. She got some speed. She's gonna, take advantage of the track. Usually a good horse who's usually on the what do you call it, on the pace, and let Bruiser know what to do with her. I think the most important thing is like cutting back in distance, and she's a 3-year-old, so she's kind of fresh still. She's gonna run big this race. I also like number 9, Paula Silver Lining. Talamo's aboard, and this horse has good. Actually, he's gonna sit right behind him, and she's 10-1 actually. She raced in Belmont, and she's went out. Actually, she has a workout in Santa Anita, and Michelle Neville's gonna train for Talamo and Talamo rides. Now for the third spot, I do like Irish Jasper on the outside. Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz aboard. Um, it's gonna be tough. I mean, she has the problem because she's a closer, and unless the pace meltdown, you might see her at the end. But those would be my horses there. Oh, I'm sorry. I mentioned number 3, Towers Tango. Towers Tango coming back in distance also. Ran against the big boys, or the big gals, actually, I'm sorry. Stella Wynn, behold, the last time. And she'd probably be better off sprinting here. So, I mean, I think better. I know 8-1 is a nice price. And this should be my ticket. She's winning a lot of grade 1. You see her running line, Furman Bridle, who ran 3rd today, and Stella Wynn. And so this is kind of like a little bit of a class relief for her, actually. So I like Towers Tango also. So those would be my picks. I could probably go with the 8, the 9, and the 3. And with the Metro with the 11. All right, Joe. Sprint, 7 furlongs.
Yeah, to me, this one's a scramble too.
It's tough, yeah. So
I wasn't 100% sure, and I really don't have a strong opinion, but I'll give you my opinion anyway. And I'm going to mention again the horse that you just mentioned. Towers Tango is my top pick.
Mhm.
She'll be closer to the pace. She's 5 for 8 in the exacta at Santa Anita. Again, it's a scramble. It's an open race, and she's capable of sprinting. She won the Santa Monica at 7 furlongs at Santa Anita earlier in her career. So I think she's got a chance. She's like you said, she's 8-1, and I kind of like that price. And she's been able to win. She hasn't won at 7 furlongs. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think she finished. She has 1 second and 1/3 from 2 7-furlong starts. Again, I really don't have a strong opinion in this race. My second choice is the 9, just like you, Paul Silver Lining. She finished close to the morning line favorite 2 back, and she beat Wayville Avenue in her last. So she's got. You can tell she's got a little bit of class, and if she can bring her New York form out to Southern California, she's got a shot in this spot. I'm going to also put in a long shot on my ticket, and it's the local horse, number 7, Glory Zapper. She's been 7 of 8 in the exacta. The only bad race she ran was when she tried turf for the first time, so basically I'm tossing that out. So again, 7 for 7 in the exacta on dirt. She has a good draw, but she's going to need to improve to win this in this spot. But it is over her home track, so I got to give her a chance at 7 furlongs. Again, she's going to really need to improve, but she's going to be a big number. And if she ends up in the trifecta, she might make the trifecta for somebody today. So for me, again, top choices are 3, 9, 7. Terra's Tango, Paula's Silver Lining, and Glory Zapper. Okay, we're almost there. We're headed around the far turn. We're about the 3/8 pole. Race 8. Race 11. Excuse me, is the mile turf race. The morning line favorite is last year's winner. She drew number 8, Tepin. She was the queen of the turf until she got speed popped by Photo Call at Keenan the last time out. But she's not the Walking Dead. She really hasn't scared anybody away from this spot, despite nearly a perfect grass record. But what is pretty amazing to me is that 5 of the 14 entrants are females. So which of the Spice Girls would Tepin be? I would assume because she didn't scare anybody away, she's obviously not Scary Spice. But I just wanted to know, Ray, how deep do you need to go to feel comfortable in a pick 4 or a multi-race exotic in this spot? And who are your top choices?
Well, I do like Tepin, number 8. You're right. She's been winning everything. Last time just got speed pop. That horse opened up and she tried. I mean, she did make up 7 lengths down the stretch for us. I mean, but it's just too much to do. Too much to do. I would put it on top. But I got a few long shots here. I got Ironicus. Actually, is 8-1. I'm surprised. This horse comes running every time. You see that, and it's easy to see. It's gray, so you see like a gray ghost coming down the stretch. McGahee, you almost won last time for us. So those 2. Surprisingly, I kind of like Ring Weekend also for Velasquez. Kind of had a bad trip last time in the Shadow Turf Mile. I mean, when you see 7 by 2.5, that means there was trouble. It was traffic jams or whatever. So a lot of horses, and Velasquez gets that back on board. So I'll give him a shot at 20-1. Yeah, this race you could probably spread. I mean, going to a classic, you're gonna get. So, Miss Temple City, another horse. She won the Chadwell Mile for Grand Motion also. Prado's aboard, 12-1. I'm really surprised at that price. That's a really generous price there. I like the Euro with Castellano. Spectra, number 3, 20-1. I mean, these horses, you got some big prices here, so you got to throw them in there. If not, you'll feel sorry if you didn't have them, if you're going to split like that. So this could be the Keno race. But, and just one more I'd like to mention is, and you got to respect Photo Call. I mean, I know last time I mean, he may do it again. You never know. So Kenta he ran lights out last time. So and he held on. He held on. So those are my picks. You got the 8. We got the 3. We got the 4. We got the 6, the 9, the 11. So that will be it. And
That'll be it.
Actually, hope we have enough. Well, just one advice, guys. There's a lot of options, a lot of wagers to be done. You got pick fours, pick threes, you got doubles, you got exactas, trifectas. Budget your money, because when it comes down to the end, and if you're not winning, you're gonna be scrambling. So, right, budget your money. That's what I tell everybody.
Just make sure that if you have a strong opinion on a horse later in the day, that you save some money for that horse. Don't
right. Yes.
Be throwing it away late. Don't be throwing it away early and then not be able to bet the horse you really like later in the card.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Look at the card and look the horses you like and hit them. And that's all.
Hit them hard.
What I always think, that in a day like this, you make 1 or 2 horses your key horse, and if they win, then you're gonna have a good day. If they lose, well, then you have to try and make up in other races. But try and make like 1 or 2, 3 key horses that you're just gonna lean on. You single them, or you put good win bets on, or whatever, and that's how it's nice to play these days like that, because you're not gonna win every race, so you gotta try and lean on a few horses that you like and try and hit them at the right time, right?
Yep, that's why the Lord Nelson loss was, if he scratched his crushing for me, because he was the one I was leaning on. Him and I like Classic Empire quite a bit as well.
Right, yeah.
So they run like 2 races apart, so a pick 3 would definitely have been possible in that spot. So okay. There's one thing I did want to mention, Ray, and I can guarantee you one thing. Photocall will not speed pop this field because of the presence of one Midnight Storm. There is no chance. If they are both in the gate, Photocall will not get 10 lengths clear. I can guarantee it.
Okay.
Anyway, so there's a sure bet for you. If they're both in the gate, there's nobody going to get 10 lengths clear of this field. Anyway. Because of the presence of both Photocall and Midnight Storm. I actually kind of like a horse that lost in the Breeders' Cup last year to Catch a Glimpse, and the horse's name is Alice Springs. And part of my preparation for today's show and for Breeders' Cup in general, I usually try to watch some of the Euro races at least a little bit. On some of the websites. Thank you to Racing Post and At the Races and Racing UK for having, and for YouTube for having some of those races available. And I watched her race 2 back, and that race at Leopardstown, oh my God, she was shot out of a cannon. She went from last to first in about 4 or 5 strides, and she won that race going away. And if the pace develops like I think it will, again, given that both Photocall and Midnight Storm are in this field, even if Tepin has the lead, she's going to have a hell of a time holding this horse off. Again, if she can it's if she can reproduce that kick, because it was wicked. She's a 3-time Grade 1 winner, and she drew well. She drew an inside box. She should be able to work out a trip. All she needs to do is get clear. And again, if she can reproduce that kick from that race at Leopardstown 2 back, she's going to be tough to beat. And she's the second choice on the morning line at 4-1. I like Tepin as well. I'm not going to just I'm not throwing dirt on her because she lost 1 race. It happens to everybody, and it's not like she lost and she got beat 8 lengths and finished 6th, and she was up the track. She tried her best. She ran second. It just wasn't good enough that day. You just give Photocall credit and you move on. And I don't think Mark Casse would be running the queen of his barn if she wasn't ready to go. So I got to give her a chance. And I do like 2 of the other horses, Ray. I like Ironicus, and I think, again, the pace will set up for him and he'll be able to close. I just hope he needs to be able to repeat that last, if not get a little better, in order to win this spot. And I like Spectre a little bit too. Again, I got a chance to watch her races in Europe. And she's been running against some pretty good milers, milers that they think they have high opinions of in Europe, Vadamos and Zelzel.
Hmm.
So at 20 to 1 and getting Castellano, that's a horse that could make or break a day for somebody if she happens to get by the top two in this spot. But again, for me, it's 2, 8, 9 in that order. Alice Springs over Tepin, over Ironicus. And it's funny because I was thinking about what you were saying, and I know you said you have a high opinion of Flincher, and I'm fairly certain in the Classic you're not going to be going very deep. So my guess would be you'll be going single and then spread, and I guess we'll get to the Classic in a second. Yeah. And on that note, obviously we've gotten to the finale. The biggest purse on American soil until they run the Pegasus World Cup or whatever they're calling it at Gulfstream next year. The $12 million race where you have to you have to spend $1 million to get into the race. I think the purse is now $6 million for the Breeders' Cup Classic. The morning line favorite is what I think most people think is the best horse in the world right now. Number 4, California Chrome at even money for Art Sherman and Victor Espinoza. Everybody knows those names by now. And last year, the Classic was won by, who was that? Oh, yeah, it was American Pharoah. Unfortunately, he didn't have a California Chrome or an Arrogate to give him any competition last year. But you know California Chrome is going to be a short price, but I don't think it'll be as easy for him as it was for American Pharoah. So, Ray, I need to ask, is it as simple for you as California Chrome and Arrogate? And the second part to that question is, can the boys put on a show, those two, like Beholder and Songbird did earlier today?
So, well, I mean, yeah, I like California Chrome. You have to like him. Yeah, respect him. The world's best horse right now. The only thing that I'm afraid of, right, is what happened with Bayern. That Bayern went out there, and Chrome got caught 3 wide, and he never made up the ground that race. And Bayern went out to wide the field. Now, I'm not gonna say that Arrogate's gonna do that. I'm not gonna, could, you never know. But he's not that established as a Bayern was. But Chrome definitely has matured. He knows what to do. I mean, he actually has a little more speed, I think, than he did as 2 years ago. So he probably will be. He's going to go out there and he's begin a battle. You could have a hot pitch. You have Melatonin. You have Frosted. He's probably going to be behind anyway. Some mid-pack. But there are a few horses you have to be scared about. And then Keen Ice. He beat American Pharoah, he can beat California Chrome, and that might be his legacy. So you have to respect him too. He come up with these big races sometimes. FNX, I'm not that high on. Win the Space, I'm not that high. I mean, he did run third to Chrome and Awesome again. He's been, you know what? Win the Space has been plotting here, third. So. Those horses, sometimes they win the Classic and they just pop up with a big price. But I'm gonna go, and also Opportunity. He went back east and had a good race. He's been only fourth to Chrome in the other races, and did go to Dubai, finished third. So he's got some talent. I wouldn't be surprised with those horses. But Chrome is a horse. It's his Breeders' Cup. The stars are out there. And we're going to root for him to go out. I don't even know. I hope he comes back next year. I hope he comes to run next year. That'd be great. Arrogate, I'm going to kind of pass on him for this race, honestly. He ran a big Travers. He might bounce off that race. We got post 10. He's a 3-year-old. He's going to have some adversity. He won't have everything his own way. I mean, other than the Travers, he's won 2 optional allowance races, 2 main races. So I'm going to kind of pass on him for the price. If he wins, so be it. You have to take a stand somehow. So the horses I like would be Chrome, California Chrome. I like Keen Ice a little bit. I like Opportunity, and I like Winter Space a tiny bit, just in case. Frosted, I don't like him at all in this race. I don't think he should be here in the mile and a quarter. He should run today in the mile, based on his met mile. But that's another story. So that'll be it. Enjoy the great day. It's gonna be a beautiful day. I wish I was there, but we'll see you next year. Delmar.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Where do I go from here? I want to actually expand on what you said about Arrogate, and
Hmm.
there's a couple things I want to mention, and it's not. It's more for information than anything else. One, post 10 won't matter. They basically run a mile and a quarter. They run a quarter mile before they even get to the first turn. So I don't think it'll make any difference from post 10. And if he's got enough speed, if I really don't think it's going to make that much of a difference that he's outside. I think he's going to try and go to the lead anyway. I mean, it would surprise me if he does anything else. So I don't think that matters. And the thing about the fact is that he ran a huge figure, but he ran that figure in August. He's had like 8 or 9 weeks to recover from that effort. Could he bounce? Absolutely, no question about it. But I think because he's been given the time off, I think he's less prone to it than he would have if the race was 4 weeks after the Travers or 5 weeks. He's been given enough time, and again, I don't think Bob Baffert would run the horse if the horse wasn't ready to go.
No, of course. Yeah.
So, as it pertains to Arrogate, I think he's a good horse. I'm not sure he can repeat the figure that he ran in the Travers. It's similar. I guess if I have to use the same logic I used with Songbird. He ran that figure against 3-year-olds. Gunrunner ran a nice second today, but none of the other 3-year-olds that ran in the Triple Crown races or won any of the Triple Crown races are even here. Exaggerator's retired. Nyquist was supposed to run and got scratched because he's ill. So basically, none of the horses he beat. I don't think we've seen. Have we seen American Freedom since the Travers? I don't recall. I don't think so. So again, the only horse, I guess, the horse that won the Pennsylvania Derby, your buddy's horse. What was the horse's name again?
Well, Connect.
Connect. Was he ran fourth in the Travers, so he was really the only horse that came out of that race that has done anything since that race.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Exaggerated disappointed. Nike was disappointed in the PA Derby. I have to use the same logic, so I would still make California Chrome my top choice. Again, still the best horse in the world, most consistent on figures and on performance. So Arrogate's going to have to prove it to me in order to beat me. And as the likely second choice, I'm more with you. I wouldn't, if I had to go to the point where I needed a single, I wouldn't mind taking Arrogate off my ticket. But there is a fly in this ointment, and it's funny, I've been thinking about it all day. And the horse that you mentioned, I kind of wonder if he isn't going to go out there and try and run these horses into the ground, and that's Melatonin. He's been off for a while. He's been freshened. He has speed. If he, for some reason, outbreaks the other two, again, not that I would expect him to, maybe he's the one on the lead, and maybe they're chasing him. Not that California Chrome can't run him down, and not that Arrogant can't run him down. I just kind of wonder if he doesn't try to do the same thing that Byron does. And I don't mean take half the field out at the gate. Given the way the Santa Anita stewards handled the Byron situation, maybe that is a possibility. Maybe that's what David Hoffman's will tell his rider to do. And I think Joe Talmo is up. My PPs have I have the entry PPs. I don't have them. Is Talmo okay? So and he's won twice at a mile. He's won twice at a mile and a quarter. He's won twice over this track at a mile and a quarter. Again, he hasn't beaten California Chrome. He hasn't beaten Arrogate yet. But I would say he's not without a chance. Again, being fresh, he should be able. He'll be able to be. He'll probably go to the lead. At least I think he'll try to go to the lead. I don't think he's going to. I mean, unless he decides to try to do what Mike Smith did with FNX last year and figure, okay, I can't beat Arrogant and I can't beat California Chrome. I'm going to sit third behind them and just run third. I mean, I guess that is a possibility for him as well, considering that $6 million purse running third is absolutely not a terrible day at the races. Bad days pay, so that is a possibility. I like you. I think Frosted probably, given the way the mile turned out today, Frosted probably would have won that race today. But McLaughlin did okay. He won the race anyway. With his second string, he won the race anyway. So again, I think California Chrome is going to be first or second early in the race. He may be on the lead again. I think a lot that gets determined when they break. He's never been one to break slow or have any issues. But he's the best horse in the world, and unless he breaks poorly, he's got to be the one. You've got to beat him. Again, Arrogant. He's a 3-year-old, and for the same reason I knocked Songbird yesterday, I will knock Arrogant today. He's done it against 3-year-olds, and not many of the 3-year-olds have done anything since that day. I guess maybe Karina Mia will be flattered, will flatter Songbird, or Songbird flatters Karina Mia in the filly and mare sprint earlier, based on the way she ran today. But again, to me, it's 4:10. But I would not be too hasty and throw out Melatonin at all. I think he does have a little bit of a chance in here, if for whatever reason California Chrome isn't on his A game, and if for whatever reason Arrogant's not on his A game that today or tomorrow. So for me, it's California Chrome, Arrogant, and Melatonin in that order in the Classic tomorrow. And to be honest, to answer the question, I mean, I kind of hope that the boys put on the show as good as the girls did today. But based on what I saw today, I kind of find that hard to believe. And especially the way California Chrome has basically been dominating everybody else throughout this year. I'm not really sure I don't know that anybody's going to beat him. He's going to be a short number. And maybe only him. Maybe only he will get a bigger ovation than Beholder got today after winning the distaff.
He's getting
so
better
again, yeah, he's been terrific.
better with age,
yeah, he's been terrific. At some point, I know they will have to retire him. Will he come back again next year to run in the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar? Who knows? I guess we'll get through tomorrow first, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I guess that about wraps it up. We're a little bit past 10 o'clock, so we went a little over an hour, and we hope that you've been entertained and informed, and maybe if we've turned you on to a winner or two that you may not have had or may not have thought of, that'll be great for us. You can always reach out to us. We're always on Twitter at 3 Broke Guys. My personal Twitter handle is my name, Joe English, and then the number 16, so Joe English 16. And if you have any feedback about today's show or any of our other shows, please feel free to get it to us. You can find us on YouTube, either on my personal channel or on our regular hosts' YouTube channel, Rich Sharp. Just search under 3 Broke Guys Handicapping, and all of our videos will appear. We've been doing this show for about 8 months. Actually, yeah, I guess this is technically about 8 months now. And we will hope to continue doing the show. We enjoy doing it, and we hope you do. We hope you enjoy watching. So on behalf of my fellow broke guys, Rich Sharp and Ray Tirado, thank you for watching. Good luck in the Breeders' Cup with all your wagers, and we hope you have a good night. Good night, Ray.
Good night. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always fun.
Yeah, and we'll see you. We'll see you next year. We'll see you next year at Del Mar.
Yeah, next year. Yep.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night.